Uh, Good morning, everybody, and welcome to IGTV. We have William H. Murray on the line, and we're going to be talking about data leaks. And Bill, why should anyone care?
Because it influences how we make our decisions and our judgments about what we're going to do.
All right, that's a setup. Take it away.
The power of computers, according to Moore's law, doubles every 18 months, and the size shrinks about that much halves about every 18 months. Storage, on the other hand, its price halves every 12 months, and its size halves every 12 months. And we have Parkinson's law of data, which says that data expands to fill the storage available to put it in. Right this minute, I think storage is winning. The first disk drive that I ever saw was the size and weight of a refrigerator and gave off about as much heat. It would hold 1 megabyte of data. It was so expensive that it was far more likely to be used for storing tables than for storing files or databases. In the same era, the storage medium of choice was punched paper, cards, or tape. A gigabyte in punched cards would fill a railroad boxcar. It would require a year and a half to read it at rated speeds. The first hard drive that I bought was 10 megabytes and cost me $3,000 at IBM employee price. I thought I would never use it up. One can now buy a terabyte that fits in one's shirt pocket for $83. I'm always reluctant to quote prices because it dates my material and because somebody has always paid a lower price. This week, I bought a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. Where is it? Problem with micro SD cards is they're so small they get lost. I paid $32. That's right, $1 per gigabyte in that form factor. A great portion of the cost is in the transaction, in the packaging, in the shipment, not even the materials or the technology. I once thought that an SD card, the size of a postage stamp, was as small as a storage device would ever get. Smaller than that, one can hardly label it or keep up with it. However, the devices in which the storage is used are getting smaller and smaller, and thus the micro SD. About every decade or so, as storage gets smaller, denser, and cheaper, managers begin to worry that its very existence will encourage data theft. One could carry a 2,400-foot reel of tape in one's overcoat, or send out half a dozen in the waste paper barrel. Multiple diskettes could be carried in a shirt pocket. Said another way, it has been a long time since the weight or the volume of the data was a deterrent to its theft. However, we're going through the panic again. This time it's the USB drive. For example, a recent press release said Lumention's annual report and threat predictions finds removable media as the leading cause of data breaches. Dr. Peter Tippett of Verizon reports it is endless talk among very large companies, CIOs and CSOs, that I speak with every week. I think the driver is that everyone has a small case that happened in their shop or that they heard about among their peers. Then they have a wouldn't it be horrible if moment, a worst case scenario they dream up relative to their own data. And voila, it's the worst thing. On the other hand, in 500 cases that Verizon reported on in its first data breach report, there were no cases in which thumb drives or small portable media played more than an incidental role. In no case did it appear necessary to the success of the breach, much less was it causal. Even DoD leadership has been panicked by thumb drives. Rather than control access to the data, they're trying to resist the technology. They no longer permit, at least as a matter of policy, portable digital media inside secure computing facilities, SCIFs. only paper. In some commands, they do not permit the use of thumb drives on user-owned laptops attached to their networks. Anybody else see the irony here? When I sit at my desk at the Naval Postgraduate School with two of my own computers connected to their network, one is VLAN straight out to the internet, I'm not allowed to put a thumb drive in. Got to think about that for a minute. Now, we all understand the limits of such controls. Modern storage is now so dense that one can conceal and carry an entire database inside any body cavity. Yes, in certain extreme instances, authorities do search body cavities. However, this is usually law enforcement, not security, and in no case that I am aware of is it routine. One can no more resist leakage by resisting media, digital or analog, than one can resist the use of computers, networks, or for that matter, paper. Yeah, the communists used to dole out the paper 12 sheets at a time. The economics are simply against it. We pay extra for small and dense. The way to resist data leakage is to restrict access to sensitive, proprietary, or personally identifiable information near the source, that is, the controls belong on the database server, and hold people accountable for its use. It's difficult to do. It really is. But it's orders of magnitude more efficient than chasing the tiny media du jour. It is far easier to control what data is copied than to control where it is copied or what happens to the copy. Data access control is media independent. Said another way, it works for all media, including the network, now and in the future, not just the one that happens to be topical. Now, there is still the issue of hygiene. When I was a small boy, children were allowed to go out to play by themselves without supervision. I know that's hard to imagine in today's culture, but this was a long time ago. My mother said, "Son, never ever take thumb drives from strangers." When I got a little older, my daddy said, "Son, never ever put your thumb drive in a strange machine." I assumed that someone cautioned my sister not to let anyone put their thumb drive in her machine. The real risk of portable media is not data leakage, but system contamination. Shortly after Fred Cohen described the computer virus and we began to worry about viruses, our expectation was that the vector of spread would be the network. It is today, but it wasn't in the first place. The first successful virus spread on a 5-inch floppy disk. We must understand that tiny media does not cause leakage, but does spread contamination. We must understand that the way to resist leakage is by access control close to the data. We must understand that the way to resist the spread of contamination via media is to resist the porting of media from one system to another. Only then will we be called professionals and be paid the big bucks. See you next week.
Excellent topic, Bill. Excellent topic. All right. Thank you once again, and we will see you next week. Bye now.